Hi guys, Alex here. For today's video, we are going to go ahead and discuss Eugenia for what could be the final time. Just right off the bat, I wanted to make a disclaimer. We're not going to be including any photos in the video, no shock value thumbnail. As more and more eyes are exposed to this situation because of TikTok, there are growing concerns for Eugenia, more so than ever, I believe, because of the spotlight that has been put on her lately. What should be done? What can be done? Is she some sort of awful person or simply someone battling something so serious, a battle that could come to an end very soon? Will we ever get answers from her mother regarding this situation, or will it take a catastrophic end to get these answers? Would there be grounds for charges? Why does the mother continue to stay silent, sit there and do nothing? That's the first thing we're going to discuss. I've followed Eugenia's story for many years, and it's crazy to think, looking back at the times where we were all concerned a couple of years ago, we didn't think that things could get worse, the YouTube community as a whole. But now, they really have. Let's just get right into it. So I wanted to start off the video by talking about her mom and just the question that's on everybody's mind. How can she just pretend like nothing is wrong? There was a clip that has caused outrage recently. It's the mom, she makes several appearances on the live streams, in the vlogs. She is doing her stage mom thing, kind of taking Eugenia's TikToks, right? She's always the one filming. It's interesting because we don't really see any friends except for online friends. And then usually the person behind the camera is her mom. It just makes you wonder, those that were friends with her in the past, and we'll get to that later in the video, it makes sense that someone couldn't just sit there and do nothing and pretend like this is just fine. What sparked outrage was her mom actually saying she takes care of herself. She's just a skinny mini, as if this is a person who is just naturally thin. But that's obviously not the case here. There was a clip that Eugenia actually put up herself of her at Disney World in the hot tub. Like I said, I'm not going to include it here, but that was probably the most alarming clip / picture that I have seen ever. And that's really what has re-sparked concern for her in these recent days. Her mom had to have seen that, right? I mean, they were on a vacation together in Disney World. So it's absolutely not the fact that the mom doesn't know or she's just so uneducated. Okay, so something occurred to me while editing the video. They're on these vacations, right? And I know when I go on vacation, it involves a lot of family dinners. So what exactly goes on in this situation? Do they just turn a blind eye? Does she not come to the family dinners? Does she just sit there? I don't understand it. No, she has to know exactly what is going on and what she needs to do at the end of the day. But for whatever reason, she chooses to just sit there and ignore it. So it makes me kind of wonder, what exactly is she gaining from this, from keeping her daughter sick in this situation? A lot of people have wondered, like, is it the money? But also many people are under the impression that her father does well financially. So it's hard to say exactly because I don't know their financial situation. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's more of a stage mom situation, or she is living through her. She wanted to be famous and thin in her younger years. People have thrown out their Munchausen's by proxy. The mom is the one making her sick. It's hard to pin down exactly what the mother's intentions are or why she stays silent regarding this situation. And the father, no one really seems to talk too much about the father because he's not on camera. We don't know too much about him. But during my research, I stumbled upon a video that reached into Eugenia's old Tumblr, right? And they found this post. Now, I do agree that this is a little bit reaching, I will admit. It's from 2013. Take this with a grain of salt, but do remember that she was still an adult at that time, about 19 years old. She actually posted a picture of, "Hey Arnold, it's Helga's family portrait." And Helga was left out in favor of the older sister. Now, if you know Eugenia's family, then you know that she has a brother and he has special needs, and I'm sure that he required care growing up. Did she feel like the attention was always placed on him, even into adulthood, because she would have been 18 or 19 when this was posted? I just found that interesting because we don't really get to see too much of that dynamic behind the scenes, what is actually going on, right? I did briefly want to discuss Jacqueline Glenn. She is, of course, Eugenia's ex-friend who got her committed, the only person in her life to ever really do anything to help her, in my opinion. And I only bring this up, I know this has been discussed ad nauseum, I wanted to put push back against the narrative that came out of Sloan's podcast that she is some sort of monster who tricked Eugenia. No, I believe it's very possible Jacqueline actually extended her life. I understand why she would resent Jacqueline because that's part of her sickness. And it's just a shame that she wasn't able to break through during her stay. Because I've been to places for certain things. I'm not going to get like too into it here. But if you can see beyond that illness, whether that be substances or whatever it is, you come to really appreciate in the end who helped you. While usually in the beginning of the treatment, you do resent the people that kind of put you in there. If that was the case, you know, some people voluntarily go in. You do feel like you're locked up in these places. You have to do a lot of thinking. You don't think that you did whatever it is that you did to deserve being there. I do think if she fully recovered, she would see that situation in a different light, that Jacqueline really did try to get her help at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on right now in social media, on Eugenia's social media, right? She's been spending a lot of her time between TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. I've seen her live streaming on TikTok a lot. She participated in the NPC trend that was going on a month ago. What was that? She has been seen live streaming a lot with Rich Lux and Jeffree Star. Those interesting friendships, it kind of has me a little divided because Jeffree doesn't need her, right? Rich, that's debatable if he is using her. I don't know for sure. The reason I do say that I'm divided on the situation is because everybody deserves somebody in their corner regardless. And she is struggling right now. I would hate to see her completely isolated, right, without any friends. I do worry now, though, that TikTok has put a lot of eyes on her again, especially a lot of young eyes. And I've heard so many stories from girls on the internet over the years being, quote, inspired by her, a favorite among those types of groups. You guys know what I'm talking about. But also, since her explosion of popularity on TikTok, she has sparked international headlines. Over the years, she has always been very highly discussed, even in articles in the past. You know, the whole Shane Dawson documentary, there was a lot of articles written on that. And then even before that, it does seem that she has declined every single year since then. And every once in a while, she'll put out something and people notice just how bad it has gotten. And that kind of re-sparks this quote unquote news cycle surrounding her. A Fox affiliate out of Houston actually ran a segment titled Growing Calls to Ban Nearly Skeletal Influencer. She was written about in the Daily Mail with the headline reading, YouTuber urged to get help after showing off dangerously thin frame in painful new dancing video. I'm not sure if you guys saw that one, but it was her rendition, her TikTok/YouTube shorts rendition of Bitty Bitty Bum Bum by Selena. And she was wearing like this purple bodysuit, showing off her body as per usual, right? She was also covered in the New York Post and even an English language newspaper out of India called the Hindustan Times covered her as well. And I believe this is definitely because of the increased TikTok exposure. But as for YouTube people, y'all know who you are, the YouTube super fans, because that's me. Not her super fans, but just those of us who have been around YouTube for, 10 years or longer and have watched the vloggers like, Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, Trisha Paytas, Colleen Ballinger, who's going through her own thing right now. We won't get into that. You know what I mean? Those of us who have stuck around on YouTube. We've known about her story for about 10 years, right? Lately, she has been doing a lot of clickbait videos, clickbait video after clickbait video, feeding into people's concerns to the point where it has gotten so alarming. Video titles such as Things Are So Bad Right Now, which was about her grandmother passing away, to Why I Left. And the most recent one was called I'm Going Away, which was her actually going away to just Disney World. Of course, the idea here is to imply that she is going away to some sort of treatment, and then people will click on the video and realize she's going to Disney World. I'm not really sure her thought process on this. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that she wants to get as many clicks as possible and make as much money as possible, right? Because these are the types of titles and videos that really make people angry with her, and I'm not sure why she would want to stir that all up, especially in this time where things have gotten so bad. And it's only going to put added stress press upon her, because I did see her interview with Sloan. I don't know if you guys watched that. It was kind of completely pointless. They talked about the Jacqueline situation. That's kind of where that narrative spun from, that she's like this monster that tricked Eugenia. She completely glosses over why people are concerned and just focuses on those that go too far with the insults, personal attacks, and things like that, which I don't agree with. But I very much understand people seeing this channel wanting to discuss it, wanting to have her removed from certain platforms so she doesn't influence young women, right? People have always been interested in these kinds of stories and almost like the car crash analogy, you can't look away kind of thing. I'm sure by now a lot of you guys have seen the video from Herbs and Altars. It was very well done. They basically said that this is the end, and they've been following her for many, many, many years. Even in the past, saying that this story was kind of overblown and that she still had time. But now, as things have gotten worse, kind of resigning to the fact that really there's only months left for her. And I wasn't sure what to think about that perspective, but while doing research for this video, like I said, I went back to like 2021 and I saw a video of her from social media, and you could just tell that things were not like they are now. So I think that's where Herbs and Altars was coming from with that, because you can tell that it's just gotten so much worse since then. And people were concerned at that time. That's about when people started to notice that things were slipping back after the whole Shane Dawson thing. Eugenia actually did respond to that video by Herbs and Altars on a TikTok live. She admits that she saw the video. She doesn't know what to say. She appreciates them saying to be kind, but she feels fine and doesn't think that she will pass. She also admits that people have been sending her kind of like eulogy messages as if this is the last message they will ever send her. Some people probably apologizing for things that they said about her because it might be the last time that she gets to hear from them. That is the typical response that you would expect from her. She remains respectful, sometimes even thanking the person for their concern, but laments that there's absolutely nothing wrong. And she will continue to say that. So what happens now? It's a very powerless situation being a viewer. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's anything that you can do. And even the staunchest Eugenia critics, well, they exist because they don't want her to go further into the darkness. Even though things can go off the rails and it can become sort of like an obsession, but at the end of the day, these people don't want to see the end for her. There has always been calls for, YouTube to step in and do something, TikTok to step in and ban her account. She's actually been banned several times on TikTok, but usually that's because somebody is mass reported and somebody at TikTok, who knows what the heck is going on over in the TikTok offices, but it has been believed that nobody has actually taken a look at her account and it was just kind of robots. And when she complained, a human actually did look at it and reinstated her, for the simple fact that the content in and of itself is innocent enough. That topic about whether these platforms should step in has been hotly debated over the years regarding her. And I have even said at one point, I don't think that they should remove her from the platform, but now I'm not really so sure. Part of me does worry that a ban would just send her into a deeper spiral, but doing nothing feels wrong as well. I wanted to conclude by saying that I don't think that she is this evil, bad person. I know she was talking about that a lot on Sloan's podcast, how people have framed her as simply a bad person. I do understand a little bit of the thought process, how when you are fighting these demons, as I have fought demons of my own in the past, the people that do come forward with concern, you want to brush them off. And sometimes that can even turn into animosity against them. I think at the end of the day, it's going to take somebody in her life, namely her mother, to finally step up and do something about this situation, have her committed. But most importantly, it's going to take her, and it's going to take her willpower to make an actual change, because if she's not in it for the long run, things will go right back to where they are now. And in a way, it almost feels too late for these discussions. So her mom could get her possibly a couple of more years, but if she's not willing to commit to recovery, then things will just go back to the way that they were, as we have already seen. So I don't want to sound like I'm copying herbs and altars, but I do think that this will be my final video discussing Eugenia for a couple of reasons. And I have actually removed, you guys might remember me from a past video that I did called Eugenia and the Diaper Saga. I've actually removed that video and I wanted to apologize to Eugenia directly. She probably won't watch this, but for that video and for perpetuating the diaper rumor. It was immature, and I can definitely admit that the video was in poor taste. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will, of course, catch you guys in the next one. All right. Bye, guys.